You still hate me?
Perhaps.
Greetings,
One,
community.
two,
Comic talk.
and greetings, community. Yeah, we're doing it a little reverse today. We got the sister and sister boyfriend hanging in the living room. Tech issues. We're trying to get that all figured out. Until then, we are here.
Hey, John.
And
Hope you're still with us.
I'm on Cocktails and Comics, believe it or not.
And why?
Because I got a Slurppie.
Yeah, you do. That and, the community
You
asked for
spiked
it.
yours.
No, I spiked yours. Wait a minute. No,
Anyways, community, what do we got going on?
What do we got going on?
I've been playing a lot of League of Legends.
We lost them. I know you have.
There's this one character that I thought would be impossible to get good with, and I did the impossible. I literally played the most perfect match you can in League. The best rank you can get is S+, and I got S+. And I went 19 kills and 1 death.
That's rad.
It's
You know what that really means? You've been spending a lot of time on there. You know what? Because you're sitting on that thing, it makes me feel short. Okay, I'm kind of short. Hey, John, how are you? Short. If you want to jump on, just yell at us, and I'll drop a link in there. But I hope you've been doing well. It's been a while since we've seen and spoke with you directly, kind of like that. I hope you've been doing well. I hope the fans have been well. I hope you have if nothing else, a Slurppie. Show them your Slurppie. We have my daughter and her boyfriend. They're trying to log on with us. That was the tech issues that you made mention. That we were trying to figure this out. We wanted to jump on earlier, and it wasn't working out. Also, we're about to termite our house. These guys are about to take off, and
where are you gonna go? Are you gonna come with us to Palm Springs?
Well, no, I'm gonna be hanging out around here. I'm gonna be over at Nana's house, both taking her place and
the dog
and the dog, and cruising around here and making sure everything's cool. So plus I got to be going to work. They decided to call me in early, and we're doing America's Funniest Home Videos. Is trying to still produce shows for the world, basically. And how we're going to do it? We're going to do it virtually. So it's going to be it's going to be
no audience.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. and we're doing this whole social distance thing. It's really odd. Speaking of which, because we were going through a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you ever noticed.
I got this perfectly evenly mixed. Sorry to interrupt. I was able to blow bubbles and mix this all the way.
Well, you could do is what I did with mine is I ended up throwing a couple cubes in there and remixing it.
That's true. That adds literal slush to your slushy. And look how much syrup I might have to pack this full of a bunch of ice.
Yeah.
Also, community, if you can see, the quarantine hair is definitely showing. There's a lot there, and I'm almost comparable, not even close, but absolutely, my hair John, is similar to his.
Most definitely,
in texture at least.
Well, I'm looking at all the curls and stuff like that, and dude, if you look at pictures of me at your age, you'll see identical. I mean, my hair was actually, I think it was about that length. I kept it. My hair was always shaved up until I was 13, 14. So my hair was about your length, about your age, and looked pretty much like that. Actually, I was spending a little more time at the beach. Unfortunately, you couldn't, but it was a little blonder just because of the beach.
Right. I would want to hit the beach just to do that and get more tan. That's why you're the way you are. You blonder, and your skin has naturally, from age and being in the sun for so long, it's all
been working in the yard a little bit. Just kind of been doing some of this.
That's
true. If you look at the whole farmer thing going, I mean, come on. I'm not that, it's not really that even. You know what I want to tell the community out there? Just shoot me a link. Sure. You know what?
Copy and paste it in the chat.
I was debating on that, but you know what? We have John. I mean, he's actually a really good, at this point, I would consider friend. So what I can easily do is this. I can go ahead And
Cupping.
help me out. I'm being an idiot.
Oh, well.
Guest. Copy.
Oh.
Do that, right? Do that. Go here. We'll shoot it right over here. John's. If you don't mind, John, what I'll end up doing is I'll end up throwing it right to you on contacts. There we go. On text, if you don't mind. His name's Asimov Solensen. Ooh. I'm digging this jazzy stuff that you got going on there, mister. And oops. There you go, sir. I end up throwing it to you in the text if you don't mind. Hey, look! No way! No way! I got you guys. We got you guys. The only thing is I didn't give you guys a like to throw in the front.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, that's right.
It's funny because it said decent lighting makes you look good too as we were logging in. It's like, oh.
Well, I have that Lico in the garage, but I totally spaced out on it.
I kind of spaced on that too to set them up a light.
At least a little flash.
We didn't think they were going to be where they were.
No, we didn't. You know what I mean?
We didn't know where they were going to be actually in the house.
Yeah. It's not something I real well. Because I expected you guys to be in your room, and I wasn't thinking, and I don't know. I wasn't really thinking it all the way through.
You're sending
don't mind me, guys. Exactly, I'm sending the link out to
pumping out the links to people,
and I'm hoping they'll jump on. I'm hoping they'll, if nothing else, say hey to you guys. And soon, help me out. There we go.
There you go.
I want to get into asking you guys a couple questions.
You got the copy paste thing down.
Well, I'm learning it.
I want to get into the questions too.
All right, I think we are rather. Oh, I want to get this person to see if this person's around because we have something we'd love to be able to open up. That was a gift from this person.
Yeah, how could you see?
Okay. Sweet. So, all right, guys. I'm directly actually talking about you, Khalees and Jerry, guys. So check this out. You dropped your first video, Khalees. How did that feel?
Well, it's not my first video because I filmed a couple. I actually saw one with Kai when he was doing my makeup, and we were like, he was like 7 or something, 8. So anyway, but I haven't uploaded since I was a freshman, so that's 5 years. And I actually messed up on the editing. The end, I left the whole part unedited on accident. So that was a little bit not what I planned, but it's okay. I'm still gonna try to make more videos. So
I liked it. That the what should I say? The left-in mistakes, the unedited, edited aspects that you were supposed to do. That was kind of cool. You'll dig it, especially. I'm looking for a towel. My drink's drinking. Hey, show everybody your drink. You guys got Slurpees, and it looks rather familiar. Your guys' background. Where are you guys?
In the living room.
What living room?
Our living room in the same
awesome.
One to Comic Talk main stage.
It's actually kind of cool. I think it's we talk like this all the time. We sit there and call one another from one room to another because we're too lazy.
Yeah, but it's usually mom.
Sometimes she watches.
I feel like it's a household thing that people are guilty of doing, just like calling people in another room because they're too lazy to walk on their own legs. They become like vegetables at like age 30. That's what we're all heading to. It's inevitable.
That's why I told my followers to read.
So hey, Jerry, you actually been reading too.
I've been reading a lot. I'm on volume 3 of Marvel Zombies, and I started like a week and a half ago.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, John, I want you to meet Khalees and Jerry. That is my daughter and her boyfriend.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've met Kai. I haven't met Khalees before, so it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Well, I mean, since we haven't had that opportunity for you to come on over and bring the fam, I mean, this is as close as we can do the thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is it.
Yeah, exactly.
And being that more and more people are saying, hey, they wanted the whole family and see everybody on these shows. They're like, you know what? We'll just turn these things into Slurppie shows. I'll spike mine or his or someone else. I did a random spike, spun a random wheel, and everyone grabbed the Slurppie and see. So
That's hilarious.
Slurppie roulette.
Oh man, that sounds like a real kamikaze right there.
So Jerry, you're talking about your first series that you've been reading. It was you said, what is it?
Marvel Zombies.
Marvel Zombies, yeah. When I was a little kid, I remember seeing some YouTube videos, and I always wondered what the story was about because it was only like small clips. They didn't give you the full story. So when you told me that you started collecting, where you collect comic books, that's the first thing that I wondered. I was like, I wonder if he has that book or knows about that book. And now, a couple months later, I'm reading the whole volume, and I'm almost done with the whole complete series.
Nice.
A couple weeks, I got stuck on it. I was going to sleep until my phone died. I was just reading it. Yeah.
What I was cracking up at, and John, I'm sure you've come across this in your own household where it's almost eerie quiet. Especially, when sometimes when it's quiet, you're going, all right, something has to be happening wrong. You know what I mean?
It's concerning, yeah.
But I went around the house and everyone was reading.
That's the best.
Man, I'm like, oh, this is rad. This is
right.
This is surreal.
Absolutely.
So I was like, wow, this is because right now everyone's finding, and Khalees, this is what you're talking about in your video. Everyone's finding different methods, and unfortunately, people are kind of only gravitating to their electronics. They're not looking at reading and other things that they can be doing, arts, crafts, whatever. There's so many things that they can be exploring, and these are the times to do it, right? Without going nuts.
Well, I think in general, people underestimate the value in creative endeavors. Anyways, I think it's always the thing that gets cut in school or the thing that gets relegated to unimportant. When the last thing a parent wants to hear is their kid's going to go study arts in college or something. That's just like the reality is. My parents at least were somewhat encouraging, but like in general, it was like, no, study. My older brother was doing poli-sci, and my younger brother was doing econ, and they were like, yeah, that's legitimate career path stuff, and yeah. So it's a shame because it's the stuff that is certainly the most meaningful. That's what all of our YouTube channels are about, is art and story and all these things that are like clearly so impactful and meaningful.
And if you look through time, some of the things that we how should I say, really admire, really relish, really, how should I say, the seven wonders, things that we really look at, they're artistic.
Right.
So when we look at the things that have shaped cultures, shaped our history, the who and what we are, arguably speaking, it's been art.
Right.
Of one form or another, because it comes from writing and is encouraged history and so forth. You know what I mean? So therein lies the artistic ability to express yourself in a form, So I agree. That's why when and you unfortunately probably must reap some of the how should I say, the hardships and the pains of the fact that when these cuts are made in schools and stuff like that, you see it both on your end as a teacher and on the other end where I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything for you, but really what it really means for the children that want to, I guess, have their minds develop in a different way. Because there's so many avenues to develop the mind, right?
Well, yeah. I'm lucky in that I teach at a private school that really values hands-on work, values art. They have a handcrafts program at my school where a woman comes around and teaches knitting, teaches sewing, teaches all these incredible valuable elements that could easily be overlooked as unimportant. So it's been, now my oldest is in junior high, so I'm seeing a public school, version where she, as far as arts, my oldest had to choose, like, does she do music or does she get a chance to do drama, home ec, and actual art, like on paper and such. And otherwise she would not be having any exposure to one or the other. And it was a hard choice for her, having had music every week for her whole elementary school life, and to then have to say, well, you can't have music and art. And even art was like 1/3 of the year. You had a third of that, a third of home ec, a third of drama, and a lot of kids picked what they called the wheel, but it was clearly like relegated to this little corner of the school year for some of them, or for most of them. And actually next year it's even harder, because next year you have to pick just one, and whatever you pick is for the whole year. So my oldest, Kate, was really struggling with, I would love to do some music, or I would love to do art, or I would love to do drama, but I don't know that am I going to love it for a full year, and I don't get to change my mind. So what am I going to do?
Yeah, the commit. Well, and you guys, I mean, both you, Khalees, why don't you explain how you guys had your schools? Because you guys had options that were a little greater than most too. You know what I mean? So
we didn't really have like the arts and all that at Da Vinci. We had that in elementary, but it was more like mandated. Like it wasn't really, I didn't get any, like, I don't know how to explain it, creativeness like going on from that. It was really like mainstream, and it didn't matter. Like I really don't remember it, but Da Vinci was just different, like overall, with the hands-on too, because it was like a not paid for, but definitely like a private type of charter thing. So it was just really different, and so I don't know, that just shaped the way I guess look at everything now, and how I just think, because it's all like presentation based too, so it's completely different from any like elementary school that I don't know how to explain it. So, and we only went 2 days a week. The rest of the days you're homeschooled. So,
well, you guys had options. So hypothetically, let's say they were learning about hydrodynamics. Well, there'd be a day when I would say, all right, you guys are going to go down the beach and we're going to go boogie boarding.
That was a part of the
form of hydrodynamics. So once we learn at what speed that you would float and at what speed you were able to actually move your body through the water, and when you were, starting to lose too much speed and there was too much drag, and that was all part of the lesson.
Yeah.
But you guys got to actually choose how you wanted to learn each lesson, if that makes sense.
No, actually, now that I think back to it, I didn't really join the programs because I was already dancing, but they had programs where you could go to really any type of class you wanted through this one church, and it was free, and it was really like literally any class, cooking, anything, and those were like on the days that you were homeschooled, and so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but you were offered a lot. There was always there was a lot of options for you guys. I mean, they always had the different events of every other month.
Well, even now there's still options. Did you know that because of this whole COVID thing, they gave us the option to go full homeschool for high school?
Right. And the high schools that they go to, they get to choose which type of high school they go to. There's 3 different, how should I say, geared forms. So what are the different high schools?
Communication, science, and then design.
So they get to choose if they want to go into communications-based learning, design-based learning, or arts and science, arts-based learning. All at the same umbrella, but all different high schools.
That's cool. And I think that was one of the cool things I liked about when I was doing some of my teaching credential work is this idea of STEAM, science, technologies, engineering, and art as a foundational important element of science, technology, engineering, math. Right? I always liked when it evolved from STEM into STEAM, because I felt like that there was an entire group of people that were visual thinkers, and art was a way for them to explain their understanding. And whether that was like hands-on, like I design and I build something, there's an art and a to that as much as there is an engineering or a math, or whether it was being able to draw a design out and explain it through being able to, like an architect, be able to draw it out and explain it to people.
That's actually what I did the first 2 years of high school too. A really intense program, yeah. So, and it really teaches you to think like for yourself, and you basically have to figure everything out for yourself, and the teachers are kind of just there. So it makes you really like have to work hard. So some people failed, me kind of one of them, but it still in the end changed my mindset completely forever. So
but what a learning process. And I feel like that's what school is for. It should be a time to make mistakes and fail at things and learn things about yourself and the subject matter that you're studying. I mean, I feel like I'm always telling, because even my third graders get so hard on themselves for making a mistake or being bad at something or failing at something. And it's always like, dude, third grade, fail, do it, fail. Who cares if you make a mistake in third grade? I know you feel it and your parents feel it, but it's like, take a step back and realize like, there is no permanent third grade record. It really matters, make a mistake at long division and then like try again tomorrow, I went to junior college, so my high school grades were not all that good. I came out, but I felt like I enjoyed high school in the sense that I was trying things that I enjoyed, or trying things like there were certain athletics that my parents made me do that I was like, I hate this, and I'm learning why I don't like this. And then I found theater, and I was doing theater, and I was really enjoying that. Or I had language arts, which I was really good at, and I had economics, which I thought is easily one of the most frustrating subjects I've ever had in my life. And it was like I was learning about myself and my tastes for certain things. And then it led me into where I was successful in junior college and then into college. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I found value in all of that learning about me,
Wow. I mean, sounds like your experiences were awesome.
Yeah. Some college going on.
Yeah. Hey, Titus.
It was challenging because I mean, I had a lot of arguments with I had a high school principal for a dad. So him seeing me failing econ was not a pleasant experience. There was a lot of like, how does that reflect on me as a parent kind of thing going on for him. But for me, it was like, I know now, like what roads I want to go down. And again, my parents were pretty supportive overall. But I'm not talking about home economics now. I'm talking about actual economics. I hated econ. Econ was easily my least favorite subject in high school. And it might have been a really poor teacher, but I didn't want to learn about the stock market. And it would have been valuable stuff to know now as an adult. But at the time, it felt so unimportant.
Well, more times than not, it's instructed in such a cold and sterile way that you're sitting there going, I'm supposed to learn this. You know what I mean? It's conducted like that. You're like, this is painful. I'm either going to go to sleep or I want to hit something.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was probably like half the teacher and half me. I think that's the truth of anything. Anytime somebody's failing at something, it's not just one or the other. It's definitely like a participatory element from everybody involved. But econ was horribly painful. And I wasn't a great math student, but I wasn't an idiot. And but for some reason, just the way this gentleman presented it was just a disaster for me. They just didn't work.
Right. Hey, Khalees, I want to get back to you. Now, let's go ahead and do it. I can actually segue this. Now, from your schooling, you actually had to do a lot of presentations. In your presentations, you had to do a lot of editing. In your editing, you did your first video for comics.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Talk about that.
I haven't done a video in a while, and even in school, like the past couple of videos I had done, I wasn't the one to edit it. I was like the one to film it or write the script or whatever. So I accidentally left the last clip unedited. I already said that, but just to say again, I'm sorry. But it wasn't that bad to where I had to take it down, and I didn't realize till the end of the day, so it was too late. But yeah, I accidentally didn't edit the full video.
But tell the community out there how many views you got on your first video dropped without but one place. I dropped your link on one site, and that was on TK's Batcave. Thanks, TK, for letting me drop that. How many views did you get on that?
A good amount of subscribers actually, and I have like 150 views on the video. So
damn, you got 150 plus views on a video that has been dropped. How long?
About 24. No, a little bit more than 24 hours now.
Damn. I have 1,000. I have 1,000 subscribers, and I'm lucky if I hit the 150, 200 range for a video I drop. And I have like people that legit watch my videos, and that's what I get.
Yeah, I'm really surprised, and that's why I was like, dang, now I can't delete it to fix the editing because everyone showed so much love. I can't do that to them.
How many subscribers do you have? Again,
I think I have like 184.
Jeez, you're getting almost as many views as subscribers. That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I have a 10% ratio, I think, from number of subscribers to views. I have 10%.
Almost 100%. Yeah, that was crazy.
Wow.
Definitely appreciate.
There's a way to go in on your inside of YouTube. You can go in because my buddy the Jabroni, he's the comic Jabroni. He always looks at how he's shocked how many of his views. What did I miss something?
That's mean.
Proper link. I'd rather watch that than this. There you go, Chaos. He's surprised at how many people watch his videos but are not subscribed. You can actually look at where your videos are watched. Are they watched by people who subscribe to your channel? Are they watched by people who aren't subscribed? And Jabroni, his videos he says they're usually like 2/3 of his views come from people who aren't even subscribed to his channel. And he's always like, guys, you watch my videos, you should just subscribe. But that's just the way it is. Mine, it's probably more the other way. It's probably like 70-30 the other way, which I think is fairly common. But I think it's also telling how people watch videos, because some people watch on their television and they have an account on their television and they have an account on their phone, and so they're not necessarily subscribed everywhere. But it's interesting.
Yeah, in one day she picked up like nearly 30 subscribers. She ended up doing all those views, and she wasn't even pushing it. I didn't even really drop it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to drop another one next week, so keep a lookout.
Now again, tell everybody what you guys are between the two of you, what you guys been reading.
I've been reading a lot of books. I read Parallel recently. I read Snot Girl. That was really one of my favorites. I had the whole trade book, so I got the whole like first arc or whatever. What else? Ludacrats was crazy. What else?
Sounds like just like your dad. You got the independent comic bug. I love it.
Yeah, because I think like I talked about in my video too, like when I think about comics, it's a lot of like superhero Marvel stuff, and I love the movies, but I'm not necessarily gonna read a book about it. But the indie books that have like meaning or like impactful like storylines or just confusing storylines that you have to like really figure out, but it's not like about a superhero confusing. That's what interested me. So
well, I think the fun also of an independent comic is that there's no like backstory that you need to be aware of. There's no epic universe to capture.
Yeah, exactly.
You jump in at issue 1 and you just go.
Exactly.
There's an ending. Some independent comics have an ending. They're not still ongoing. like Walking Dead had an ending, and you could just like jump in and know that, hey, if I read all 12 of these novels, I'll be done with the story. And that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a good benefit to, like, for my wife. Occasionally she'll read a comic, not very often, but she definitely will not be reading Marvel or DC. She doesn't want a superhero. She wants an independent book for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and you read what the fuck? That was one of the first ones that you read.
Yeah, that was one of the definitely, because that like related to my generation completely. Like that's all I see on social media is that exact like the characters, everything. So.
She got everything on point though, like how everything goes down.
Yeah.
Even to the music. The music was perfect with the whole comic book. It's pretty cool.
I agree, Jerry. I really do. And what Johnny Parker second? You read his Black Man's Guide to Being Pulled Over?
Yeah, that was really important to me too, because obviously, like, I don't have that many followers on social media, but I try to post a lot about things I'm hearing about and stuff. And when I heard he was from our area too, I was like, oh, that's crazy. And obviously this is like an issue, so just him doing that and getting money off of it is like, I like that. So I just supported the whole book. But
nice. I think I found your channel, and I think I dropped the link correctly.
Okay.
It was called
it's her name.
Yeah. And the video was My Favorite Comics, July 2020.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the link to her channel, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hate to branch away from what we're talking about, but Agu and Chaos are just relentless in the chat. It's honestly keeping me entertained.
The best part about it is Agu is legitimately on another show right now.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
He is on screen. You can watch him watching this show. He's on Hack's show, and he's just chatting away and watting us. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
Oh wait, are they lurking away? Hey, don't let Perry go.
They're not lurking. Hack has his 10 people on his panel. So I think Agu's just bored, and he's like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna watch this other show instead of the one I'm on.
He's got monitors all around him. I've got to watch.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Tom, what did you end up buying this week?
What's that?
What did you end up picking up this week?
Let's see here. It was mainly a DC week for me. I bought a trade for my daughters and I. This is the select edition of the earliest appearances of the Silver Surfer and Galactus. So it's like a nice hardcover. It's got 10 issues of Jack Kirby greatness. And then it moves into some of the John Byrne era stuff in the later Fantastic Four, but it's all the early Silver Surfer stuff. So I got that for them and for me. I mean, I'm going to read it a ton as well.
Sure, absolutely.
I think I've only got 3 DC books on my pull list, and Far Sector is one of them. I like the Green Lantern universe in general, and this was a new character. So if you haven't been reading it, this is the 7th issue of her name is Sojourner, or Joe, and she's a new Green Lantern with an unusual ring that works in a slightly unusual way. And she's placed on a planet that has been taking medication to stop having emotions. And now there's a slight revolution happening where people are stopping the medication and they're starting to feel the subjugation of medication on this planet. And so she's like the police on the planet. She's trying to keep the peace between these two sides. So it's a wonderful look at medication. Yeah, Chaos, I agree. Far Sector is awesome. It raises a bunch of great ideas about over-medication and medication that changes your person as opposed to medication that helps your person. And Joe is a really unusual and kind of interesting character as a Green Lantern, and I really like her, and I'm kind of enjoying that. I've been looking for more DC books because I tend to be more of a Marvel or an independent guy, and a few people told me that Hawkman has been a great run lately, and my LCS had issue 1 and issue 2, so I just grabbed both of those, and I liked them enough to keep reading on the digital app. I've never read Hawkman. I know nothing about the universe or the character, or I went in blind. He's like an archaeologist who has apparently lived many lives, and he is born again with some of the same abilities and can kind of like has powers that connect across lifetimes, but he is slowly losing knowledge about all the lives he's lived. And so he needs to like connect to what he's gone through to keep that connection alive. And it's kind of a cool look at. He's like an Indiana Jones as a superhero in some ways. It's kind of a cool way to look at it. So I enjoyed that. And then I grabbed mainly just so that I can crap on it on my channel. I've been buying Deceased Dead Planet, which is, hey, for Jerry, this is the DC version of Marvel Zombies, right?
Yeah, Kevin was telling me about I'm probably on that next after I'm done with Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, it's basically the same kind of idea. They just basically set it in Batman and Superman's world, and instead of making it simply just zombies, they connected it to a villain over there who has always collected what's called the anti-life equation. His plan was to sort of take over Earth with this mathematical equation, and it gets, in this story at least, it gets corrupted. And then people start turning into zombies as a result. Again, they don't want it to be called zombies, but it's basically a zombie. And so you're seeing your Superman, your Wonder Woman, your Flash as a zombie and what that would mean and how that affects the heroes that survive.
And I can imagine Superman as a zombie. Must be a monster.
It is. And there are parts of it that I really like, and there are parts of it that it just drives me. There's some lazy writing and some bad artwork that just drive me crazy. But it's no better or worse than Marvel Zombies. I think they're very similar. And if you like one, you'll probably like the other a whole lot. Mm-hmm. The end of Deceased 2, that was pretty creative. Yes, I agree, Chaos. That was a cool twist at the end of issue 2. Now, this is the second storyline. So they did Deceased, which was like a 5-issue or 6-issue storyline and had a lot of little tie-ins. This is the second story where some of the heroes are coming back to Earth to try to fix the problem. Because there's a lot of cosmic superheroes in DC, and some of them are coming back to Earth to try to fix what happened.
So yeah, I told you it was kind of similar, you know what I mean? And if you, like he said, if you kind of like one, you might like the other, you know. And if you just kind of, because he's been doing the Comixology, I got him in the Storyfolio. I got actually they both at their first Storyfolios. I said, look, when you guys get those full, and when you have a couple of comics above, then we can get you guys a box, so it's not a bunch of books flopping back and forth, you know.
Nice. And what I like about Deceased, one of the things that I will say is positive, is that they expand it better than I think Marvel Zombies did, where they'll have a story. They had a 4 or 3 issue storyline all about how the villains did during this. So you get to see your great DC villains dealing with a zombie apocalypse, and how would a villain survive or fail during such a thing. So you get all your Jokers and your Deathstrokes and all these great DC villains forced into a situation that is horrible, way worse. So it's like you have good guys and bad guys all dealing with worse guys, you know, which is cool. So they had one, it was called Unkillables, and that was easily the more interesting stuff that they did in the whole run. Oh, there he is. Corvidal.
How's it going? Well, as far as Jerry's concerned, it was last week, right, Jerry, that you walked into your first comic book shop.
Yeah, it was a comic book, right?
That's right, man. That's pretty good. And then you went to another shop after that, just 3 days later.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then so his first time walking into a shop, you know, as in anyone else, his eyes were, you know, just
I wanted to buy everything, go crazy, but I wasn't sure what I really wanted. And then Kevin showed me that I got to be really careful, and I don't know, I didn't really know what to pick. And then I got the digital copy, so I might as well I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's the best part about comics is it's like movies or TV or theater or whatever. There's something for everybody, and I think you might not like Hamilton, but that doesn't mean you won't like the next play or musical that you go and see, and that you might not like Deceased, but it doesn't mean you won't like an indie like Saga or something.
Oh my god! That's so funny because.
Fact.
Hopefully we'll film a video soon and we'll come back to this comment.
But I mean, it's true.
Khalees, tell them how long ago we wrote that, what you're talking about.
Around the time I read the Fuck and the Mia Bunn interview, I think.
So, I mean, talking what she's talking about is
the beginning of quarantine.
We wrote out basically a whole script about 2 months ago about basically what the comment that Chaos has made.
That's hilarious.
So yes, I am pushing it, Chaos. I'm creating a whole new generation of readers, a whole new generation of collectors, and a whole new generation of pushers.
I mean, my daughters like totally different stuff than I do. My youngest would happily read Silver Age DC comics from, like Lois Lane, Superman's girlfriend, and stuff, stuff that I would never just read a run of. She will devour that stuff. And it's like she finds her niche and I find mine, and it's just a lot of fun.
Well, and again, even Khalees and Jerry, that's exactly what they're trying to do is that, they dove into not even a pond or a pool. They dove into, as you well know, an ocean of content, So what I did is I try to start them out first small in the sense of content that wasn't really heavily, laden with any major history that they had to learn or anything that was too involved as far as too many issues to complete an art to get a decent flavor of what was going on. And now, like I said, when they walked in their first shop, it was like I could see in their eyes what they knew was the reality of comics is, holy shit, there's a lot out there,
No, for sure. And my wife is not a super reader anyways. Like she prefers occasionally nonfiction or whatever, but comics is not her thing. But every once in a while, she'll read something Middle West or something, and an independent story, and it'll just resonate with her. Or I'll read something like Canto, and I'll say like, you gotta check this out. This is just totally different, and you'll appreciate it. And it's fun to find that book that connects with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I talked about in my video too, because like we were talking about with the technology and everything, and I was talking to hopefully the people that like follow me on my other social medias already that are my age. Like they don't realize that this could be such a healthy outlet to like not only reading is good for like our vocabulary and stuff, but just to like get ideas of, I don't know, something other than news.
I don't get what Chaos is saying there about me and Deceased and Gore and Saga. I don't know how does Gore feel about Saga? I gotta know.
I guess
does Gore like Saga? Because I don't like Deceased overall.
I like Snot Girl.
Well, and
Gore said.
We actually performed a version of Snot, or actually we tried to do the whole issue of #1 of Snot Girl, and it was kind of cut off at the end. But yeah, we do like it. And Khalees, you discovered something about yourself about how the format you like to read. Everyone has their format. So
I was going to talk about that. So I didn't want to read comic books because my dad has always been so careful and always talked about how you have to keep them super perfect. And I'm just not the type to be able to keep things perfect. So I didn't even want to try to read them. But then I realized like the trade books, you get the whole arc in it and you don't really have to keep it perfect unless you want to, but I'm not going to. So it was perfect. I get the whole story in one read and,
Yeah. My girls love that too. They have a ton of trade paperbacks or graphic novels on their shelves where they can. And the drawback is when they run out. So like my girls are very into Ultimate Spider-Man right now, which was like they started Spider-Man kind of all over again in the early 2000s, and they made him a kid in high school again, and they brought a classic writer and artist back, and they started his story all over again, but they didn't change a lot. They just sort of set him in the 2000s, and they gave him a cell phone and things that he didn't have in the 60s and 70s when he got started. And my girls are obsessed. And there's like a couple hundred comics that are in there for that whole new story. And I've been collecting the big graphic novel hardcover editions that have like, I don't know, 20, 30 issues in a single edition. And you can get, and so there's like 10 or 12 of those. And they've been obsessed with it. And for them, it's been their big, it was a perfect jumping on point. They didn't have to go back and read the stuff from the 50s when it was like, I don't know that I care about the jalopy that Spider-Man's driving or the way he's talking about being a nerd or whatever. Like they were way more interested in putting him in the 2000s, and that meant more to them.
Yeah, I haven't really read any Marvel things yet, but recently I was thinking about reading Silver Surfer. So hopefully I'm going to start with maybe that and break into other things because I know that's my uncomfortable point right now. Trying to get into
Kai's face. Hey, Chris is here.
Hi, everybody.
Cast and or
I am in the garage again.
How you doing, Chris?
I get
hey, Chris. Jerry, Chris, this guy is great. He's this guy's filled with knowledge and a half. I don't know where you find the time to do half the stuff that you do. I don't know how you do it. You're like,
I feel like I'd feel like I just sit around in chat rooms on YouTube a little bit too often.
You read a ton of comics. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, you have your sports thing, and you do all this other. I don't know where you. I mean, you got a domestic life. I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
Wait, I do a what? A porch thing?
Sports.
What did you just say?
Sports.
Oh, well, I mean, you could watch sports and read comics at the same time. That's a trick of the trade right there.
Correct. My soul brother is here.
Oh.
Don't mind how you be.
Comics on the Mind's awesome. I haven't talked to him in a while.
He's cool, man. We should get him in here. I'll send him the link.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I have eyes.
So, how you been, Chris? What you been up to? Causing chaos?
Nothing much. I'm still painting the house, which I started like a month ago. So that was a mistake. I should have just paid someone to do it.
Nah, you'll feel better in the end. You know that. No one will ever do it the way you want it done. So.
No, I didn't want it done. That's the problem.
My wife gets an incredible amount of joy from taping off a room and doing what's called cutting in. She loves to cut in, where you paint the edges around all the frames and the doors, and like she loves that. It is like soothing to her soul.
Yeah, I think our wives are probably similar in that sense.
Maybe it's a nesting.
When you paint, it's funny. My wife's pregnant, so she probably is nesting. But when you paint yourself too, and your wife's there, like, you start like doing a lot more accents than you probably would if you just pay to do. Like she'll be like, this closet jutting out is going to be a different color. It looks good. Don't get me wrong. It's just like extra work for me, and I don't. That's the other trick to read a lot of comics. Like I don't do anything around the house except for wash the dishes. That's pretty much the only thing I do. So that's the other trick. I don't actually do anything here.
Must be nice. nice.
It kind of sounds like Jerry and Police's job. What do you guys do?
The towels too.
I'm gonna send, Chris, I'm gonna send you pictures of Kate's bedroom the way my wife painted it, because it was supposed to be like a mermaid, like under the ocean thing. Although in my head I was like, is that like she's sleeping in like at the bottom of the ocean and she's drowning or whatever? But whatever. She painted the bottom layer of the bedroom one dark kind of blue, and then it was like 3 other layers of blue in like rippling waves, like as it went up, and then the sky had the ceiling and the upper layer had one other color of blue. It was like, and she hung like wooden toy fish and like a mobile fish, and it was like you're under the ocean mermaid style. And Kate loves it, but in my head I'm like, I'm at the bottom of the ocean. I feel like a gangster who did something wrong.
Yeah. You got her these cute little slippers that are actually, they just look like concrete.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So just because I painted now, I do want to see it. But if you send it on Instagram, don't feel bad if I delete them, because I definitely don't want my wife to see that.
It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, we're gonna paint my son's room this weekend probably. I'm gonna see if I have more work to do at work, but see if I can get out of that. But yeah, she already has like her ideas, but it's not that detailed. It's just like the colors, the 2 colors in there.
Sure. No. Well, Charlie's bedroom is just like it was like a lavender color because it was like the fairy room, and she had like fairy posters and stuff for her walls. But like Kate's room was legit. Like, dang, there's like fish hanging, and there's like a seagull, and like there's a whole event happening here.
For those of you that haven't been on a stream with John, you're literally looking at the only guy corner in the entire house. Like, that's the only piece.
Hey,
that's what he's relegated.
Right over there, I got Sylvester Stallone's cliffhanger happening right now. That's John Lithgow. There's Sly and Michael Rooker.
Yeah, but that's just because it's late. That's just because it's late.
Everybody's asleep. I can watch Sylvester Stallone kill people. That's hilarious.
Well, we got them sitting on the couch and not wearing this room. Well, because in Kai's room he has a contrasting wall. That contrasting wall is very close to a chroma key blue, so you can actually superimpose on it if you wanted to. And if you're not, you'll notice the colors going in and out when we shoot in his room. So
that's actually why we don't stream in there facing towards our wall. So it'll make the camera lighting blink in and out.
So now we're in my room.
Oh, that makes sense.
You'd be like Bueller, though. You just make that your background, and you put like a bunch of like really amazing books in 9.8 grade right behind you, and you just look at this amazing wall of slabs. Hey, Kyle Walker's here. Thanks, Kyle. How's New Zealand doing, buddy?
That's a cool name.
Yeah, he's in New Zealand. So he's on a whole other time zone. This is like probably early morning or something for him.
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, wow. Yeah, matter of fact, I did think he did say that it was morning for him.
That's Gore Vidal. He says that Chaos gets up at 4 a.m. and does videos.
I did that once, and everyone references it, which is sort of funny. But then I was I'll just go.
I love Chaos's videos because he reads a ton of stuff that I don't, and I'm always able to say I'm gonna like. I'll give you the nicest compliment I'll give you, which is when I was in college, I knew which film reviewers I could read or couldn't read because they would have a taste equal or not equal to mine, but in the sense that I could tell if they liked it or didn't like it, if I would like it or not like it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they might love a movie and I could read their review and say, I would hate that movie just based on how they explain it. And you have the same skill in comics so that I don't read all the books you read, but I can tell by your review how I will feel about it, which is not necessarily identical to your view, but I can tell by the way you describe it how I'm going to feel if I read it. So it saves me money in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to get sentimental, but that's basically the best thing you could tell me.
Right? That's what I said. It was a great compliment.
That's a
like,
great
serious,
compliment. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. Because, like, not that it's bad, but a lot of people, the way they talk about books is like as a from their point of view, which is fine, and it's an objective statement. But the truth is we're all gonna like different things, and really the only person's opinion that's wrong is Gore Vidal's about Saga.
I saw that coming, and it still hit me.
Talk about a setup! Wow, it was like he took the ball and he put it right on top of the key, and he just wound up, and you knew.
We go back and forth. Just so people know I'm not being mean, we go back and forth. No. I've already talked to Gore Vidal's lawyers, Dewey Cheatham. He'll put it in the chat in a second. I forget the other lawyer. He always tells me that. Dewey Cheatham and something.
Dewey Cheatham and how? Dewey Cheatham and how?
Oh, it is, yeah. Where's that from again?
I don't remember. It's an old joke, I think. Dewey Cheatham and how?
How? Okay. I knew it sounded familiar.
Alec,
I've only been a dad. I've only been a dad for a couple of years. I haven't really got my dad joke in.
I've had similar debates with Alec White Whale Comics about Saga because he feels like Saga started off really, really well and he really enjoyed it. And then he feels like at some point the artist and writer started writing for graphic novels and they stopped writing to tell individual issues. And the story sort of started to drag. And that he stopped enjoying it the same way that he enjoyed it at the beginning. And that he could see a distinct mark in which the story just changed.
I see that in a way. Listen, I get if someone thinks that Saga's overrated because really it's the biggest indie book outside of Walking Dead, maybe Y the Last Man, right? It's in the top 5 indie books of at least the last 20 years. So I could see how someone thinks it's overrated. I think it was always written for trade, in my opinion, from number one. I do think it got slow for a minute. What's up, dude? In the middle, but I think it picked right back up. I think the last 2 trades are as good as anything in the series.
And I that's basically where I come down on it. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't necessarily view it the same way Comic Man Andy does, where it's the masterpiece of all comics. But I enjoy it as a hell of a good comic, way better than 90% of what you're going to find out there. And I would happily read it in trade because that's how I've read it is in trade. Yeah. So there you go.
And my wife, it's the only comic my wife. There's only comic my wife buys.
There you go. Comics on the mind,
Kirk.
Hey, what's
how are you doing, sir?
I'm surprised you guys are up so late, dude. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised from you, Kevin, because we
I was going to say.
We're all West Coast.
It's not late enough for us. In this household, we're always up late. And I want to officially introduce you, Kirk, Khalees, Jerry, Kirk.
What's up? I've seen videos with you guys in, but this is the first time we've met. It's good to meet you guys.
Now, Khalees, are you and Jerry in California as well?
They're in
the living room. They're in the living room.
In the same house. That's hilarious. Okay, so then it's really just Chris that's got to go because California be united here.
Oh, yeah. Bay Area, baby.
It's 1, 2.
Comment.
So what are we
Well, you know, we
right
just
now?
wanted to fill up the screen. You know what I mean?
Vegas is essentially a LA suburb now. We're like the new Inland Empire.
Right?
Yeah.
You're still on the West Coast.
We're gonna adopt Reno and Vegas and just bring them in.
No, you don't want Reno, but
We got half of Reno anyways.
That's true. It's very rare. It's very rare. I'm the furthest east.
Right?
Yeah.
So Kirk, I gotta ask you went and got some books this week, right? So what was the best book, the number one book you read this week?
Figure out where chaos is.
I'm still working on my stack right now, but so far the best book that I've read was Avengers of the Wasteland. Where is that book today? I don't know if you guys read. I am so glad that they made that book like physically, not digitally. That kind of made me, which means Valkyrie is coming out. So I can't wait. But yeah, Avengers of the Wasteland was really good. What else did I read? I didn't get a chance to pick up Batman 96, and that'll probably be my second choice of reads.
I got to read Avengers of the Wasteland. I'm gonna probably read that digitally in the end. I really want to read that.
Which one?
Of your Wasteland, Avengers of the Wasteland. I hear it's really good.
Oh yeah, dude, it's really good. I didn't get a chance to read what Wolverine book series that came out.
Dead Man Logan.
Yes, I have the first issue, but that's it. I didn't get the rest of the series.
It's a good read, and I hear your Avengers of the Wasteland just catches up right after it. It just follows.
This issue number 4 was a huge twist because it's like they were giving like the new Captain America like so much crap, but somebody else ended up being like a traitor. So it was really good.
Well, I love the idea of Luke Cage's daughter as Thor. Like there's a Hulkling, there's a whole like crew of new Avengers that I really dig.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. And I'm glad they're still continuing that alternative timeline, And then of course it has Doom in it. Like Doom is awesome.
So I got to turn the DVR off because apparently John Lithgow just died, so it's all over.
Oh shit!
Spoilers.
Hey, comics on the
Spoilers.
Those big Funkos behind you.
Yeah.
Large Funkos.
Oh yeah, you talking about this big sucker right here?
Yeah.
I don't collect a lot of Funko Pops, but my homie he okayed this big old thin grim.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
So I'm a huge
Those
Big Grim fan. Like yeah, and I will accept the gift from a Funko Pop, but I will not buy one because these things are addictive. I already have 3 on my eBay watch list, and I'm like, if I buy, it's over. I'm gonna start buying like 50 of them already.
Yeah, luckily, the only reason why I'm buying them is because I've been trying to get the sets of like the Venom 27 comes with a Funko Pop. If you buy that version, the Funko limited, so that's the only reason why I've been doing these Funko things. I do not want to get
for the comics. You don't even buy them for the Funkos.
Yeah, I'm buying for the comics. I don't want to get locked in on these Funkos. Last thing I need is another thing. Now that Khalees is, picking up books, and if she gets into the trades, and then these guys start, I am now.
We're gonna run out of space very soon.
I am now, and I've always said we never have too many comics. We just have too little space. So now that we have a considerably more readers, we're running out of space. But the cool thing is like you guys pointed out, my wife really doesn't read either. So I figured if we move her out.
That's the dead weight, Kevin. You got to clear that dead weight. She's got to carry her weight.
I'm leaving you because you are taking up too much space for my comics.
The joke around my house is that it's like there's 3 of us on YouTube. What's the 4th one doing? You got to carry your weight. You got to join the other 3.
Didn't your wife Didn't your wife make an accidental appearance? I think it was like when you've only done 1 or 2 auctions ever, but didn't you? Weren't you like doing an auction, but you had the camera around, and then like she just walking by, she realized she was on camera and she ran.
That's how much YouTube this guy watches. Chris watches so much YouTube. He caught the 1 5-second bullet that my wife made of YouTube. Where I'm the other direction. I around to say my wife walks by, and Chris is like, "Hey, I saw that."
Yeah, it was a big moment. It's the first appearance. It's a key. It's a key for your channel.
That's hilarious.
It was a cameo. It's a first appearance until she's on a full video.
Here's the reality: if Alec, White Whale Comics, or Thanatos are on my show, she will happily sit out here and listen. Like she'll just take a seat on the couch and listen to what they have to say. If they're both on the show, she's going to listen to the entire show. If they're not, then she's gone. She's done.
That's funny.
Just the truth.
Well, those were sort of your original YouTube friends from almost the beginning. Right? Yeah.
Definitely. I think I just woke her up.
Original. I mean, it's so Khalees and Jerry. So
go to the garage, John.
Into this pond, and you're hanging out with these sharks. How are you hanging? Because I know a lot of this is above your head, right? What we're kind of talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I've read some books, but obviously I just made my first video, and that pretty much sums up about what I've read so far. So yeah, I have a lot more to go. But
so what's on? I was getting on as you were sort of talking about that. So what books have you read again? You read Parallel.
Mm-hmm.
You read some of the indies that have come through your dad's channel, but what else?
Yeah, so like Mercy, The Fuck.
Oh, Mercy.
Snot Girl, Black Man's Guide, Ludicrats.
Okay,
yeah,
Ludicrats is really weird.
Yeah, Ludicrats is a little weird for me. And I like weird.
I love it, but that writer is someone I've already bought into. Like I'm at the point with Kieran Gillen where I just read anything he writes. So I think it's interesting though that in the end, you'll probably run across Kieran Gillen stuff again. It's interesting though that Ludicrats is your first experience with him because his other work isn't like that.
Oh yeah. But, it was pretty weird. Like the first issue, I didn't really get it, and I only read the second one, so I'm still kind of confused. But I gotta read the.
You're not good. They're Wicked and Divine. Wicked and Divine and Die are probably his masterpieces, and then Once in Future is probably the easiest to get into.
I just bought the first trade for Wicked and Divine. I haven't started it yet.
Yeah,
Whoa,
that's one, John. That's one that sort of snowballs. Wicked and Divine, by the way.
I have a couple of I had the first two of Once in the Future, and as far as Khalees, she picked out the Snot Girl whole trade, and that's kind of one. She's only been kind of, how should I say, exposed to Snot Girl. She wasn't really totally read it or anything, so she bought that on her own. So that was kind of cool. So she is starting to learn stuff out there, and she's starting to learn that she kind of prefers the trade. Tomorrow we're going to go to a sale where I think no matter what trade it is, it's like $5 or less.
Oh,
so
nice.
She'll probably go crazy there. We'll see, what she'll end up picking out because both of Jerry and Khalees went to the shop where we're going to go to tomorrow. They got to kind of see some of the stuff that was there. I'm kind of curious and interested what they pick out. I am hope to take some video, just out of curiosity, and hopefully we'll upload some stuff and see what it does. Or she, for her channel, I'll just save some of the footage. But yeah, I'm really curious now that they've kind of touched their foot into the ocean, where they end up going now. So,
Jerry, you've read. I heard you say Marvel Zombies, and then I know that you read Faith. I guess I'm just showing how much YouTube I watch. That you read Faithless, right? That was like the first book you read.
No, I read
Unsacred.
Unsacred, yeah, Unsacred.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It was one of the pseudo porn books. Unsacred
Money
I haven't
Shot?
actually read yet, but I heard that was cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, I heard good things about Unsacred as well.
It starts out kind of seemingly like it's going to be a bunch of porny style thing, but by the time you get in issue 3, they challenge you as a reader to start paying more attention to the story because they bring up certain parts in the story at the end that force you to come to recall certain aspects that led up to that point.
Yeah, there's a few moments where it's just like, oh, did you remember this? Did you remember that she wore that? Things like that.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's Mirka.
Pay a little more attention.
Mirka Andolfo is she draws a lot, and I think this is her first book for the American market, a written book. So
she did Unnatural. Unnatural was hers.
Oh,
yes, and I love Unnatural.
I haven't read Unnatural either. I like Mirka Andolfo, but I don't. It's something I have to really jump in on. I don't know that much about her, but she's she's an Italian artist, so more famous for that,
right,
for the art side. So, and then it seems like every Italian artist, like half the Italian artists at least, they just like to draw naked people a lot. I may be profiling Italians. I don't know.
I've kind of noticed the same thing. Yeah. Actually, Kai, she just picked up on an animation, didn't she? Didn't she just get option for an anime or the Paprika thing?
Monero?
Maybe a mini series, something like
that.
It's called Sweet Paprika, and she's been drawing the characters since years.
I believe it got optioned. Yeah.
I know that she is pushing it forward and doing something with it, but I didn't know it was being an animation. I thought it was going to be mini series or something.
No, animation optioned.
Interesting.
Yeah. So look for that.
Sweet Paprika. A demon in a box.
Jerry's hit two extremes there with Marvel Zombies and Unsacred, sort of like an Image, indie.
Money Shot was pretty out there. That was pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys ever read about it or heard about
it. Issue number 7.
Yeah,
I love Money Shot. That shit is really good.
It's funny.
I should go read that one.
Yeah, you should finish. Did you finish the first trade, or did you read the first issue, or how much did you read of it?
I finished the first issue.
Just one book.
The first I remember Kevin was telling me it was
the arc.
Yeah, the first arc. I finished up to.
Okay, the first 5 or 6 issues or something. Yeah. So the new arc just started. He just showed you number 7. That's the second issue of the new arc. So it's gonna get you could sort of see where it's going. It looks like it's gonna be pretty funny, right, Kurt?
Oh yeah. Even the last issue was hilarious. How their boss was just like, what's going on? Can you guys give me a donation? Thank you for your donation. I'll just see you later.
Yeah.
So it's really good. It's definitely good. I haven't read issue number 7, but I definitely I'm loving the series. I'm reading also. I don't know if any of you guys read On the Stump. This is hilarious. It's really great. Basically, how all our politicians should do it. Just duke it out. That's how we should vote for our politicians. Just have them all duke it out and see who's the best for the best.
Yeah, that book is somewhere between C-SPAN and UFC.
Basically.
Wow, that's an interesting analogy.
So I think we're getting. I start writing these down.
I think it's getting late.
Well, I wanted to actually bring up 2 things. One, anyone out there that's having problems with their lighting and it's too harsh or whatever, or they get glares, I end up picking up some extra gel. So if I end up throwing out a mystery box to you, or if I end up throwing out an AOK, or if you guys just want some gel to put in front of your light, this is the stuff.
We have that in front of.
I will show you how to
light.
put it on. Yeah, I have it on my stuff.
We have it's very basic light, but we just put the thing over it and it makes it better.
Yeah, so I cut down on my glare, and you guys will hold your slabs up, and it'll look a lot prettier. So that's one thing I want to tell you. The other thing is,
well, thanks, because I would have put that on my face. I'd have just rubbed it on my.
Perfect. No, yeah, and yeah, you'll be. I don't know if it's COVID proof, but it'll be great.
I'm very
Back to Carolina, Chris 26.
Well, we don't want to show that side.
Oh, we want to show this one.
So we wanted to open that up real quick. Chris, thank you very much. There's a package that came out to you, Mr. Carolina. Chris, who takes a look at Agu, so Juan's the best.
Yeah, make yourself big to open that.
I can't get this out.
Yeah, we'll do that right now.
I mangled the box.
Well, don't hurt it too much, please.
No, that's what I mean. I had to mangle the box in order to save the comic. You see, we
want the knife?
It's the balance.
Don't hurt me.
We sacrifice one for the other.
Don't
Carolina Chris is
I won't hurt you and I won't hurt
guys.
the comic.
He's amazing. Now what I end up doing is I end up reaching out to Chris. He ended up getting a package in, and he was receiving an order, and in that order they gave him a free comic, and that comic was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 95 second print. And I was like, I don't even have a 95 any print. So I said, hey, you know what? I end up buying a bunch of books. Would you mind if I did a trade? And he actually, I'd rather not. I'd rather just give you the book. I have issues about receiving things free. I have issues. Let's leave it at that. But anyways, I couldn't do that. So I end up, Chris, if you're seeing this, if you didn't receive that package today, I'm sure you're receiving a package tomorrow. There should be a few books in there. Thank you very much for just with not even, I mean, you put that out the next morning. You had it obviously packaged that night, dude. Hey, you're amazing. Many people in this community are just amazing, and you're no exception. You're just an awesome guy.
I
Whoa.
would love to personally thank you for your purchase and remind you that if you're satisfied with your order, please leave a positive. A lot of people tend to forget to even leave a review, so I've taken the time to type these short notes to remind everyone, hey, I take pride in making sure my customers are satisfied. One more thing, I have a YouTube channel where I post comic-related videos. I was hoping, and if you have time, could you stop by and check it out? If you like, please subscribe to my channel. It would be greatly appreciated. It's and then he put his YouTube channel. Shout out to you, Chris26.
You just read a whole ad. You just did a commercial for him.
Yeah. That's actually smart to put that in your eBay box.
That is.
I'm mostly afraid someone's going to yell at me for my shipping, so I don't want them to know I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, there you go. Wow, you put tabs on everything.
Best kept secret in YouTube.
Wait.
I'm glad to know Juan is the best. I'm not sure who Juan is in this context.
Well, technically, it's my name in Spanish, so I'm going to own it.
You're going to take that one? There you go.
I know. I was pulling out a little hard. I think you're fine on the spine. I don't know about the book, but yours is fine.
It's okay. These are meant to be read, not...
So,
oh, of course you would say that, Chris.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 95.
Damn, man. That is so cool, Chris. Dude. Yeah, that's the second print.
I actually want to read the IDW series from the beginning. I've heard it was pretty cool.
Me too. And now that
maybe one
as
day.
far along as they are, I mean, it's obvious that it's a decent run. I've not heard anyone say anything bad about this run, ever.
Yeah. And it seems like a doable read that will still be, sometimes when you read older stuff, it's good, but it takes its own time to find itself, especially the 80s stuff. So I've actually read a few of those older Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay. They're okay, but they're more historically important, But the one or two IDW ones I read, I go, oh, that might be good. So
yeah, I want to try that IDW run. But you're talking about like the 90s stuff?
I'm talking about the original 80s stuff.
Oh, the black. I love the original black and white stuff.
I love the art. Reading it's good also. It's good too, but like it's good in the way like an indie rock band is good that put out an album themselves. You know what I mean? Like there's you know what I mean? There's like what am I trying to say? There's like sometimes when you read those, there's a rush sensibility to them, especially after you get like past number 5. Like that's when it started getting popular. They started turning them out.
Stuff where they're like on there's like robots and like crazy, they bring in Cerberus and there's like a whole, it's a bit
that was number 8
Shredder stuff. And then when they get back to Shredder in the like later issues and they have the big fight with Shredder, like that's the stuff I like.
Yeah, and it's all good. I think it's all good. It's just there's a element of it that feels like it was made in someone's front room in 1984, which is exactly what it was, right? So like you take that sort of into consideration. Yeah. So the IDW series sort of has taken in the whole world of Ninja Turtles for the 20 years before. They sort of know what's going to work and what's not going to work. It has a modern feel to it. The pacing and stuff is done by modern writers. So there's a lot that it makes it not that 80s thing, but then, it's probably more like palatable. Like if Jerry or something was like, oh, Ninja Turtles look cool, I'll try that. You'd probably start with the IDW stuff and then you would like go look at its history, But and for me too, by the way.
Isn't IDW reprinting a lot of the old Ninja Turtle stuff too?
Yeah, they are actually. You're right. They're like reprinting random stories and coloring them. I think and then
Raphael and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that whole Raphael, and that's what it's based off.
Huh.
I actually had a question for everybody. So I'm reading the Marvel Zombies, right? And I guess at this point, I've been introduced to a lot of characters in the Marvel universe just because, and the storyline is all over. The zombie spray is all over, and I'm wondering what superhero, what storyline should I start in after I'm done with Marvel Zombies. I obviously want to read Deceased, but I'm not sure. I want to read a superhero, but I'm not from Marvel.
You want to stick with superheroes?
I'll be down to try villains too.
You want to stick in that world?
Yeah.
I'll listen to what everyone else says, and then I'll do. I'll throw it.
No. And then he's gonna shit. He's gonna shit on any of our ideas and go to.
No, I like them all.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, he wants to come.
I don't actually do that.
Go ahead and drop the hammer.
Oh my God, hilarious.
I'll let everybody.
The short answer for you, Jerry, is Venom. Read Venom, and then you'll catch up and be excited about what's happening right now. But
that's Caleb's favorite. I already know. He be telling me.
Carnage. I read Absolute Carnage. I'm pretty.
But Venom will lead to, like he's saying,
Oh,
Venom
true.
will lead to all that. You know what I mean?
I feel like Venom, as much as I love it, I've never stopped getting it since issue 1. I feel like it's for people who know that universe well, and I don't think it's for people that are like new to that world in a way. And so for me, I would go and find like a number 1, like a graphic novel that gets you started well. And so for me, it's like what I like about like say Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man, like the first graphic novel, is like you're jumping right into that universe right where it needs to start, and you can enjoy a Spider-Man story with Miles Morales as the lead. It feels more universal in that way. I do like Venom a ton, and I've never stopped. It's been on my pull list since the first issue dropped. But I feel like you need to know the reason Venom Island works as a story is because I know the ASM Eric Larson story. And I feel like a lot of the stuff is built on other things. I would love to recommend Silver Surfer Black to people, but it only works if people have read some of the other outlying elements that go with it for me.
That's actually the one I was going to read.
I love
you can read.
It's amazing.
So
but it's just,
just like even if I were to take it back to issue 1, would it still be confusing?
No. So two things. John's right. It does touch on other things. Ironically, after everyone told me, after I came on and everyone said Chris reads everything, all the stuff that Venom touches on, I knew nothing about. I never read the original Venom Island. This is a spoiler, but you won't remember it. I didn't know anything about the Council of Reeds. The Ultimate Universe, I've hardly read anything of. And I know, I had to go and look it up a little bit just to get some background. And then Donny Cates in general, I think you can read Donny. Here's the thing. Donny Cates got a lot of new people into comics, and there's probably not going to be any different for you. So no matter what comic you get into, and what, for what John just said, Miles Morales actually is a great choice, right? Because you can get a story that's self-contained and stuff. But no matter what comic you get into, there's always going to be, superhero wise, there's always going to be some backstory, and what ends up happening is you start caring about some of that. Like when you read Silver Surfer Black, you're going to go well, who the hell is this Ego guy or Galactus or something? You know what I mean? And then you might look it up and you might care about it or you might not, At some point you realize that these two universes are so big, none of us are going to know everything about it unless you're C. Woodward on Comic Core. He seems to know a lot.
Wow. Yeah, Gore Vidal. I mean, I'm a big proponent of, if you want to get into the Spider universe, I think Ultimate Spider-Man is an ideal entry point, and there's a lot of graphic novels and collected editions you can do for that. But I also think that we're in a generation now of young readers that would go to Miles Morales before they would go to Peter Parker, and
that's crazy.
And I would respect both choices. I don't think there's any wrong choice there. I think they both could get great entry points into the universe. But what a wonderful option to have two really stellar Spider-Man characters to dive in on,
Yeah.
Oh, look at it. There it is.
Oh, that first appearance. The only reason you shouldn't get into Miles Morales is that you're going to want his first appearance, and that's cost like $1,000 right now.
Oh, I'm glad I got it before.
Right here too.
Oh my god.
So the only reason Gore says Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales is that's relatively recent. The other reason I would say like Venom or Silver Surfer Black, like Donny Cates in general, is one, I've just seen a lot of new people get interested in it. And two, there's something special about being current. So if you read Ultimate Spider-Man, that's a great story, but it's 15 years old. It's fun. It's fun to be somewhat current. It's just a fact of life. We all could just wait a year and get most of these books, with the exception of first appearances, for $1 in the dollar bins. Yeah. But you see us all show our $3.99 books. They're like 90% of them are going to be in dollar bins in a year. So part of the fun is being relatively current, and for at least the group here that all have YouTube channels, is getting on YouTube and talking about comics, because our wives don't read them.
It's impossible. It can't be done.
Well, as we brought up, 3 times.
Yeah. So Kirk, what's your recommendation to Jerry? We've gotten
and a free. Oh,
yeah, Kirk is the same.
Out of what? Give me a good grail. I got a joke, but give me a good grail.
What do you mean?
Give me a good. Never mind.
Ghost Rider.
All right, $1,000 and a Ghost Rider #1 to the first comic YouTube channel that's hosts a comic dad and a comic wife. It doesn't exist.
No, that's true. No, what's what called? There's
Bruce
Moreau. Yeah, Stephanie. Yeah, Bruce and Steph.
Bruce and Stephanie. Yeah.
Well,
they kill it.
Number one,
not common, but they happen. Yeah.
I'll be giving stuff away.
They're a little like Lisa and Jerry. They're a little. Well, I guess Stephanie is. Stephanie's like getting into it more.
Don't trust Chris because he's salty that he didn't win their trivia contest.
Yeah. There's a little salt there. Let's be honest.
So, hey, Kirk, what would you recommend to new readers as far as the superhero realm?
In terms of superhero realm, I would definitely anything Thor. Honestly, I was talking to a homie about Thor. Yeah, Unworthy Thor. Anything written by Jason Aaron. All of Jason Aaron's Thor, like King Thor. Read that, phenomenal. Anything Thor. Even Donny Cates' Thor is like it's been really good. Even though I love how Jason Aaron just on King Thor issue number 4 dropped the mic. Like he left that series like perfectly. But yeah, anything Thor is awesome. Even like Jane Foster's Thor. The first, if you can get your hands on the first trade, the trade of her first run, the second run is really good too. Anything with Jane Foster is really good. Jane Foster's Valkyrie is great. If you're trying to do superheroes, read some Thor. That would be my suggestion.
Remember that?
Yeah. There you go. You got three, and all of them get my stamp of approval. Khalees, let me tell you this. This is what happens to me because I generally prefer, I grew up with the superhero stuff, right? But I generally prefer indies too. But what ends up happening is that you like some of these writers or you like some of these artists, and they end up doing, like Donny Cates got famous for a book called God Country, which you should read. And they get famous for this, and then they end up doing superheroes because that's where they get paid the best, and then that just draws you right. That draws you right in. Jason Aaron's best work is a book called Southern Bastards, but he's most famous. He's most famous for Thor. So that pulls you. And Thor's great and should be read if you like the superheroes, but you end up liking these writers. And then they end up writing in Marvel or DC, and you're like, well, I like it so much, I want to see what he does with Venom or Thor or whatever, So, oh yeah, I was on John's show. I reviewed that with John and Alex. So,
nice.
But here's that Jason Aaron. You can get a collected edition of Jason Aaron's Thor, where you get 18 issues all in one, and you start off at the beginning of a run and you get an epic story, and cool stuff.
Oh wow.
He does a really great job, like with lore.
Yeah, it's Alkalis. Now, and I would recommend this for readers that are trying to get into the superhero realm. I like to recommend something that they can, I guess, slowly acclimate from is an indie place. So indies are always these small little mini series. So I would like to do the same thing, and that's why I recommended to Khalees initially Silver Surfer Black, and Jerry. I would recommend to you so you can get a taste of the Spider-Man world. I would recommend Life Story. You do a little Chip Zdarsky, and you do something that you're used to in a mini series. Now you're going to want to crave to do something in the bigger realm of Spider-Man, and that you'll end up finding Spider-Man has some of the coolest villains out there in the Marvel universe. So that's how I would probably point you, is in those two directions between you two, and then I'd switch you guys and then see what you would think between one another. You know what I mean? Have her read the Chip Zdarsky's story, and then have you read Silver Surfer Black, and then have you guys, wrap to one another.
That's right. Zdarsky is doing some upcoming stories.
Stillwater, dude. We're all over that. So if you don't know, Chip Zdarsky's writing a story. He's what you're seeing is exactly called Stillwater, and what you're seeing is some of the people in the Marvel and DC place want to go back to some of their indie places to go ahead and express themselves on ongoing series. So one is Stillwater that you're going to see coming out pretty soon. Another one is
good. I got a question for you, Jerry. When you read Marvel, I've never read Marvel Zombies, so there's a cover I think is cool where Galactus is a zombie, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll read that one. But
that's a recent one that came out.
Yeah, when you're reading it, like what hero looks cool to you that, like, obviously, Spider-Man and Thor or the guys in the movies, like what hero goes, oh, like which one made you curious just from reading Marvel Zombies or stuck out in some way, or villain?
The whole reason why I started reading, why I was interested in the first place was I commented at first was YouTube that I seen like little clips, and it was a clip where it was like Spider-Man trying to figure out how he could cure the virus, and he was like hungry, and he was trying to fight like his hunger in order to like save the world. So he was going out to, I guess he got transported into like a different universe where it was like nobody was infected. He was like the first infected, and he was trying to find a cure for his his old universe. So he was going out and killing villains and taking them back to his lair, and he would kill them little by little and keep them alive so their meat wouldn't go rotten, and they were basically suffering. And that just got me into the whole universe.
That guy you're into it. That's actually really crazy.
Spider-Man.
I might have to give that a read.
Yeah, it's crazy because you just see your superheroes killing, like people are running away from the superheroes who are usually saving everybody, and it's pretty crazy. Yeah. Spider-Man.
It's definitely some cool covers, like seeing them drawn like that is pretty cool. So.
I would say Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the one that trips me.
Stuck out. Cool.
They've been doing a lot of like crazy variants of like Marvel Zombies. My shop didn't have the first B cover, but they ended up getting I ended up getting a zombie Spider-Woman, which is a pretty good cover. But
yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Boom! It's all good.
It's late. Sorry. Oh yeah.
It's all good. But another good book that I read recently, which just broke down, because everybody always says like the Fantastic Four is always like surrounding around the Marvel universe, and I read Grand Design issue number 1, which was really great because it broke down just all of a lot of like the Marvel history. I didn't get issue number 2 from like Fantastic Four to like Namor, the Invaders, all the way up to like when the Inhumans got introduced in Fantastic Four. So it was a really great read, just learning about a lot of the history. That's why I want to read that Spider-Man book you were talking about earlier. I know John was recommending that because he bought a bunch of trades. Was it Life Story, a Spider-Man Life Story?
Yeah, I mean, Life Story is a great read.
Yeah.
I like Life Story. That's probably one though I wouldn't. You'd think that you'd recommend that to a new person because it's all self-contained, but a lot of reading that was like, oh, that's Spider-Man's history if he were 40. Oh, that's Spider-Man's history if that happened when he was 50. Like I think it's a little bit more special if you knew that history.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
It is self-contained and cool. I hope they do more life histories. I thought I was going to get all these cool life histories. I thought I was going to get so for you guys that don't know, the Spider-Man life history, the way it was set up was like, okay, Spider-Man's from the 60s, right? But what if he aged the same, he's perpetually, 25 or something like that, whatever he is in the comics, right? So the concept of life story is what if he aged, he's a teenager in the 60s, he's 10 years older in the 70s, he's 10 years older in the 80s, right? And then like at this time period, he's already like a senior citizen essentially, right? And so it's a very creative idea. I was sort of hoping that we'd get a whole bunch of other characters done that way, you know, like an Iron Man life story or a Hulk, you know, like Hulk getting old or something, you know. So hopefully they do that. But.
Well, that's why I like.
Why they didn't? I agree. It didn't make sense. I was actually waiting for the same thing. So when it didn't happen, I was kind of left going, "Wait, really? That was it?" But
yeah, it was Darsky's idea, so it would probably be people probably don't want to step on it, you know, like either he'll do it or yeah. So. I could feel the dead air. The rule is.
Yeah, well, no, the rule is when we're out, you know, when we're out, I actually drink a lot. When we're out, so everyone stay there. Love to speak to you again. But from us at
1-2
Comic Talk,
we're out.
Thank you.